Hello. I think I might have jinxed things last week when I was talking about wintering, because now it's really cold here, hence my scarf. Fortunately, I have a little pocket warmer that my lovely friend dropped off with me yesterday. So that's keeping my hands nice and warm. So all is not lost. I am going to talk today about this large concertina sketchbook that I've been working on. And in previous videos, I showed how I created the background, and then I shared how I thought I was going to be using it as a warm-up. Famous last words. I think what it has become, it's been about really, for me, not so much warming up ahead of painting, but it's been about exploring what it is I want to say about the Ramshackles. So I'm going to turn the camera around in a minute and just talk about that. But before that, I just wanted to mention that in the next few days, I'm going to be sending out my last newsletter of the year of 2023. My goodness, how did that happen? So if you aren't already subscribed and would like to hear and also see some discounts on some of my courses and the work on my website, then please sign up for that, and I will put the link in the notes. So that's coming out, as I say, in the next few days. So this is my A5 size concertina sketchbook, which I've reduced the pages of. So it's got 11 double pages, and I've done them as double page spreads, and I'm going to show them each double page spread at a time, but I'm also going to show you where they connect into the next page, if that makes sense. So when I started, this was way back in late summer, and I was at Skinning Grove, actually, where a lot of these ramshackles, these fishermen's huts are. So this was the first page, and I was very much building the papers up, even though there was some paper in the background, and connecting in with this idea of the peeling layers. And then if I sort of show you the connection, so there you can see how the roofs connect in, and I will fold it up now so you can just see the next double page. And these first pages are necessarily quite busy. I was looking at trying to get this idea of the stacking angled buildings, and that's what this is all about, really. And these lots of loopy shapes and edges and mark making for the roofscapes, because that's quite an important part of it, I think. And that's one of the things I learned from doing these pages, actually, the importance of those and the importance of the angles, because these buildings are on slopes. So if I open it out again, you can see the way the next page goes. So this is the join here again. And hopefully you can see these pages are quite busy. I added quite a bit of paper to get this impression of the stacking and layering of the buildings on the slopes. And there's a whole mix of things going on, and I've used quite a lot of mixed media. So I've used, the paint is actually gouache. That's the join there, and it's connecting in with these kind of bleeding over. And then I've used pencils and woodies, and the Inktense pencils, and graphite and charcoal, so quite a mix of things. So this one here, you can see again the roofscape is important, but again the complexity and congestion of stacking shapes. So at this point it becomes a little bit less, the colours change a little bit, it becomes a little bit more muted. You can see the connection there with the sort of planting in the background, and it's quite sort of ethereal, really, that. And this next page I'm going to show you is quite fortuitous, really, because there was quite a lot of really nice bleeding ink going on in the background, which enabled me to be quite soft around the edges with this sort of central part. So this is actually one of my favourite pages for that reason. And as you can see, it's more of a muted palette, the yellow ochre and the dark blue going on there. It's almost more wintry. And this is quite nice, where you've got text, and then I've just used Artgraft over the top of it. So then when that connects in, what I've done with that one is, as you can see, connected in a kind of an impression of a roof, which I quite like. And then this is the very typical planting, which is down the banks, especially late summer. So you've got these big umbellifera plants and lots of weeds and nettles and so on. So it's just an impression, really. So this next page, at first I wasn't very keen on this big block, but I kind of got to like it because I quite like it against the smaller broken up angles and pieces here. So it's about that contrast really, and I quite like that. And again, more dramatic and sort of abstracted shapes that are actually from the roofs really. And then that connects, the way that I've connected that in, this becomes a little bit looser from here on, well, this page at least. But you can see how I've used the shapes to connect that, because actually this is quite different. But by using the loops to continue on, you kind of connect the pages in. And so this page, I've started to more paint, maybe less paper, maybe a little bit looser, which is quite, I quite like. Maybe not quite as quirky in the sense that the angles and things aren't there, but you know, each page is different, and some just necessarily are more successful than others, and it's just the way with these things. Some of these I might well simplify more, not this page necessarily, but some of them. So I've just connected in simply on that connector here with these patterns. Actually, these were done with the end of a pencil actually, but in any case that kind of pattern kind of connects the two in. So this one is maybe a little bit too heavy. I might well go back in and simplify it. I think it's the fact that there's quite a lot of dark and it's very sort of blocky. But as I say, it's all sort of there to learn from really. I quite like this where you've got the text and the writing, quite like the build of the layers and the impression of the layers, because that's what you get in these buildings. You've got these peeling layers of all sorts of materials. This page here is interesting in the sense that what I've done here is it's one kind of building really that traverses two double pages. So that's the kind of side of the building, that's kind of the front, or it could be. But in any event, it kind of connects in. So this page, this next page, I think is arguably a little bit better in the sense that you've got the strong shapes and marks, but you've also got breathable space, and it's more implied things. And so you've got, I mean, again, these different shapes of the roofs I think is always very interesting and quirky and really part of what the Ramshackles are about. So this works. And then having a bit more paint and breathable space down here so your eye moves through, I think is a little bit more successful on that page. And then from here, the last two pages I think are the least successful, and I might well come back to those. I just wanted to share it now for completeness. So again, I've got the connection with these sort of big shapes and arguably planting. This is more like the farm buildings in the sense that there's lots of wood in the farm buildings and sort of overlapping areas, or at least the ones that I've looked at. But I do think that probably needs some more work and some simplifying. And then the way that's connected into the last page is this here, which is kind of something that traverses all, so it kind of becomes one image. The last page I think is too painterly. I haven't got as much, I haven't added much paper onto this one. It was just the paper that was on the background. And I do think, because I've added quite a lot of gouache, I think it just, for me, it's too painterly, but it's taught me quite a lot, so that's quite helpful. And it is obviously reminiscent of the buildings themselves. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it on its the book on its side, so I can just kind of walk you along it. So I'm hopefully going to be able to move along this so that you can see it as a single concertina, and then you can see how it connects in. Overall, I think this was a really useful way of, as I said to you, it's changed from being about warm-ups to being about working out some of the things that I want to explore in the more further in the paintings. And as I get to this page here in front now, I'm reminded as well of colours. So they might not all be the same colours. I quite like these muted tones as much as I like the bright blues and things. So it could be that that's something I explore, but it's also helped me to get more of an angle on the marks and the shapes and the angles that I'm interested in, and how to portray that in the paintings. So that's been really helpful as well. So just pulling these so that you can see them. And then that's the last really useful one. Those last two pages, as I said to you, I'm probably going to redo. So I hope that's been helpful as a way of sharing with you how I've been exploring more about the Ramshackles using this concertina approach, please do like and subscribe, and I'd love to have your comments, and I'll catch you next time. So thanks a lot. Bye bye.